What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I got something special for you. Something new I've been waiting for from Diode Dynamics. Alright guys, so I finally got my Stage Series Bronco kit from Diode Dynamics. Really nice kit. I'm going to go through it real quick with you. I'll lay it out on the table so you can check it out. Got it about a month ago. I ordered it beginning of December. It was supposed to be end of December ship. Then it got back ordered. It was supposed to be here end of January. And then I got an email saying I could get my kit earlier, but it was not ready yet as far as the OEM harness. The OEM harness allows you to plug your fog lights into the OEM wiring, which turns your fog lights on with your headlights. I said, go ahead and ship it without that, and when you get that, send it in. But the only problem with this kit is it comes with a wiring harness that's not really compatible with the auxiliary switches. I'm going to lay that out and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Alright guys, so here's the kit all laid out. It comes with 4 SST2s. These would be your off-road lights. Really nice quality, lots of cooling fins on the back, aluminum housings. So you get 4 of those, and then you get 2 of the SS3s. The number stands for the size, so this would be a 3-inch. I went with the ambers. I've seen a lot of videos on these in hazardous weather conditions, dust and stuff, and that amber light really cuts through. Nice. Same thing, nice aluminum, lots of cooling fins on the back. Heavy duty mounting plates. These are stainless, powder coated. And here's your splicers to take all the lights and put them to the main harness. The only problem with the kit that I see so far is the wiring harness. This is a nice quality harness that they give you. Relay, fuse, battery line, ground, your 2 leads that would go to your splitters. These splitters would go to each of your 3 fog lights, and then a switch. So this harness would work great if you don't have the auxiliary switches. Run this one into your cabin, drill a hole for your switch. There you go, good to go. But that's not the way I wanted to hook this up. I envision using the auxiliary powered wires for the switches, splicing them in to the lights, and you're good to go. That's all the videos that I've seen. That's how they've hooked the lights up. That's kind of why I wanted the auxiliary switches. I called their tech department twice and spoke to them about this, and after speaking to them and then receiving a call back from them, so kudos to their customer service, it was awesome. They informed me that you're supposed to, with this harness, hook up the battery line to your battery, and then the switch lead, you'd want to cut this off here, basically cutting off the switch, and then hook this to your powered auxiliary wires. So in my mind, I'm getting now dual power, one from the battery and one from the auxiliary switches. They said the power from the auxiliary switches would work the relay. So I understand what they're saying, and this is a good quality harness, thick wiring, it's all covered with protectant. You got shrink wrap here on the relay end. But I didn't want to hook anything into the battery. That's why I wanted the auxiliary switches. It seemed like it'd be an easier option, cleaner option. So they suggested that I call Panda Motorworks, which is where I got the other harness from. And I'm going to show you that right now. So here's the wiring harness from Panda Motorworks, which is exactly what I wanted and what I assumed was going to come with the DD kit. You got your 3 plugs for each light. Each one is labeled A, B, and C. So that goes to both sides. All right, and then you got your leads coming off that, all labeled A, B, and C on both sides. And also has this one labeled BL, which stands for backlights. So if you're not familiar, you can turn on basically a lowered power version of the lights, to light them up a little bit, make them look kind of cool. but not giving you the full power. These already come with heat shrinkable crimps on them that you would just strip and crimp on to your auxiliary wires. Here's your ground that goes right on that ground that's right on the firewall that you've seen in other videos. I'm sure everybody's kind of using that same ground location. And that's it. That's what I wanted. That's what this has. This wiring harness was $44. And to me, it was worth it because this is what I wanted. This is how I envisioned hooking it up without having to kind of cut apart the other harness. All right, so you're gonna start the install by removing these 3 Bronco bolts on the front of your modular bumper with the T40 Torx bit. So the next thing you want to do is mount your lights onto your bracket. So you want to start with your fog, put the bracket on first, line it up as best you can, tighten it up, then put the light on, and then work this way. You want to put the bracket on, then the light, because once you have the light on, you can't tighten the bolt that attaches the bracket to the base. I had to go kind of trial and error, squeezing it in there, using some needle nose pliers to hold the hardware in place. It's kind of tough getting your fingers in here. All right, so we're gonna see what it looks like mounted up in the Bronco. All right, so here we are underneath the hood of the Bronco. I'm gonna lay out the wiring harness. This harness is measured specifically for the underhood of the Bronco, so you have a short side for the driver's side and a longer lead with your A, B, and C for the passenger side. And then the part that goes up to your auxiliary wires and your ground. So I'm gonna find a spot to fish this down through and make sure it's away from anything hot or anything moving. I think I'm gonna go for this spot here in the fender. Looks like it goes down underneath to the area we need to be. See how that works out. All right, so here's a shot of the passenger side mounted. And I pulled my battery out. Had it disconnected to do the wiring anyway. So it's just easier to get your hand down in there to pull your battery out, but that's up to you. So I haven't secured the wiring yet, but I'm gonna run it right along that factory wiring harness right there. And it comes down alongside the fan, down to that hole right down there, right behind the headlight, and comes out right there. Now, directions with this kit say to mount the plate in the bumper first and then mount your lights to it. I don't know how you do that. It's awful tight in there. So I mounted the lights to the bracket first, a couple times in and out to adjust them to get them in the right position, and then plugged them in and then mounted the bracket. All right, guys, so we're gonna pick some auxiliary wires here. I will post my diagram that was in my owner's manual for what my wire layout is. I would definitely check your owner's manual. I know they have changed from their pre-production models, different amperages. They may have changed the wire colors. So don't take my advice. Check your own owner's manual or have this done by a professional. So I'm looking for 10 amp circuits. You can feel a difference in the wires, the thickness in the wires. So this yellow one right here is a 30 amp. This is auxiliary 1. The next higher is a 15 amp. That one's gonna be green and brown. That would be this one. Again, you can feel the thickness in the wire. You know it's a higher amperage, it's thicker. That was auxiliary 2. Auxiliary 3 is violet and green. That's the one I'm looking for. I'm gonna hook the fogs up to that. That'll be this one, violet and green. Auxiliary 4 is going to be all brown. That one's easy to get right here. That one's 10 also. Auxiliary 5 is blue and orange. That one's 10 amps. And auxiliary 6 is yellow and orange. And that one would be this one right here. So all you want to do is cut this heat shrink off, strip back a little bit, put it into your crimps if you're using crimps, and then heat shrink the connection. I am using 4 switches for this. I'm going to use one for my fogs, one for each off-road lights, and then the backlight function, which operates all the lights in a lower setting, just for kind of an accent light. If I end up adding something else or I'm going to need that switch, I will take either the backlight function out or I'll double up my off-road lights into one circuit. So we'll get going on this wiring here. All right, so I'm back. I apologize. I lost some video of me actually doing this. Props to guys who nail these videos with good production. I'm just doing the best I can here, and I forgot to turn the camera on when I actually did it. So my A was the fogs, and that's auxiliary 3, 10 amp, violet and green. And my B and my C, which is my off-road lights, they're both 10 amps. That's 4 and 5 I used. 4 is the brown, and 5 is the blue and orange. And then auxiliary 6 I use for my backlights, which on this Panda Motorworks harness says BL, and that's tied into the yellow and orange wire here. Like I said, these are all 10 amps. And if I'm remembering right, all the backlights, which is like an accent, should be amber, even on the white off-road lights. So I'm gonna test these out, and provided that they work, I'll heat shrink this, clean up the harness here, zip tie it up along the fender, we'll be good to go. All right, so here's a shot, everything all buttoned up. I wire loomed my harness wires into the auxiliary wires. So here's 3 and 4, and these were 5 and 6. Or A and B and C and backlight. And then here's the ground, all loomed, zip tied up. So I came along, get a better angle here. You can see the harness come up out of here. It's a little bit long, so I got about a 16-inch piece, 12-inch piece here. And it follows the hood release right down to here where it splits. This one goes down to a hole that comes out underneath the bumper. And I found that by just shining the light in the pocket in the modular bumper, and then was able to see where the light came up through here, and that's where I put it. And then this one here comes down along all the way down to here, and it follows the factory harness. Grab a light for you. You can see it right down there. Factory harness goes all the way across that cross member. And then right down there's a hole, and it's pretty much the same as the driver's side. It comes out behind the modular bumper, and you can stick those wires right to the pocket in that bumper. Let's fire them up and see what they look like. All right, so we're gonna fire them up and see what you think. We're going with the SS3 fogs first. Man, that's nice. I love those ambers. So these are the Sport. They also make a Max and a Pro version. The higher you go, Max, then Pro, the brighter the lights are. These are the least powerful, but they are still very, very bright. And they're still expensive. These are $800, I believe the retail is on these. Now we're going to go with the SS C2s. These are the off-road lights. So each SS C2s are a combo. So they're a spot and a flood. So you get a ton of light off these small little lights, 2 on both sides. Now we're going to go with the backlight, see what that looks like. So that's the backlight function of all 6 lights. They're all amber. The SS3s are a little bit brighter than the SSC2s. But the backlight function is nice because you can have it as an accent light and have your C2s lit up. Otherwise, you can't have these on the road because they're not certified. They're too bright, basically, for on-road use. So with the backlight function, you can still have these lit up, have your whole pocket lit up nice, but you're not breaking the law by having off-road lights on the road. Alright, so here's a little night shot. This is low beams only. This is high beams on. We'll go fogs only. It's tough to see through the windshield. Off-road 1, off-road 2. So that's all of the Diode Dynamics fog pockets on. See if I can get a shot out the window without the glass. And this is just the backlight function on. Alright guys, so that's it for the Diode Dynamics Bronco Pocket Fog Kit in the Sport version. Hope you like the install. Leave a comment below, like and subscribe please. See you next time.